Found. Hello, friends. Tonight we are joining one another for I just recently actually did a workshop on this. It's balancing your meals, or how to create balanced meals after weight loss surgery. And there are many reasons why we want to do that, and we're going to go over those reasons. So it's a very applicable topic that I hope each and every one of you will take something from. I did note that you can pair this with the weight loss surgery survival guide, because it does have all your basic nutrition education in there. It would be super complementary to what we're going over tonight. But first and foremost, I'm Whitney. I am your registered dietitian. I am founder of Level Up Bariatrics. I'm super passionate about my little company and business, because all it does is provide service to someone else, and I just get a kick out of helping the weight loss surgery community. God knows you all need it, and you need long-term support. So I'm here to offer a little bit of that from Level Up. So without further ado, we will get into, I'm going to just show some slides just to kind of explain why we need to care about making balanced meals. And I'll start by saying this is important because we all know after bariatric surgery, your appetite can be, non-existent, or you could be super ravenous. So it's really, it's individualized how you're going to feel after surgery, especially that first year. You can just have, just a roller coaster of an experience as far as when you're hungry, what you're hungry for. But we want to think big picture. So this isn't something that, if you're early on post-op, you don't need to just totally immediately start practicing this 100% of the time. I just want you to gather this conceptually and start to apply this a little bit at a time, or each meal at a time, actually. And more importantly, I want you to understand why you're doing that. To me, in my opinion, learning something is not worth learning it. Hey, Robin, can you put yourself on mute? Or actually, she can do it. Look at me. I can do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So why we want to do it would really put a lot more, it would make you have more effort in creating your meals. Like, if you know why you're doing it, it just makes it more purposeful. You're just not going to be like, meh, she just told me to do it, whatever. But you're going to get such satisfaction out of doing this. So let me just hop into the slides and we'll explain this. And if anybody has any questions at the end, we can answer them. Share screen. Oh, that's not the right one. That's the other one. Okay. All right. So creating your balanced meal. Oops, hold on. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, what creates this balance? What the heck am I talking about? What are you supposed to put in your meals? I'm talking macronutrients. So macros meaning big, micro meaning small. So if you hear macronutrients, it's the things we eat on a daily basis in larger amounts that provides us energy to our bodies. Micronutrients would be things that offer vitamins, minerals, things like multivitamins, or all of your vitamins and minerals and elements. So macronutrients is what we're focused on, the things that are going to provide calories to your diet and your body. So macronutrients, there's three: protein, carbohydrates, fats. You're going to learn a lot about this in your weight loss surgery survival guide. I will have some kind of a course coming up soon. It's actually a pre-prep course right now, but I don't have it available for purchase just yet. But nonetheless, protein, carbs, fats, those are the three we're talking about. Now, alcohol does provide 7 calories per gram. We're not going to go over alcohol, but just do know that does provide calories. But we're just focused on these three. So number one, we want to understand, what is protein? What do we even need to do? What is it even doing in our body? It's like, why is this so important? So it does play the role in creation, maintenance, and repair of every cell in the body. That sounds pretty darn important. So it's essential for healing, like when you have surgeries, when you're injured, even after your weight loss surgery. That's why we really want you to focus on protein to heal and support your nutrition. For building, repairing, and maintaining lean muscle, that's super important, and we'll go into that at some other time too. Supports a healthy metabolism. When we have a healthy metabolism, we torch fat. Protein supports the immune system, helps us from getting sick. And of course, we need protein to grow hair, skin, nails, And more importantly, even more so importantly, because we're talking about this in this particular support group, we're going to be talking more about satiety levels. So staying satisfied. So protein's a really great thing for controlling hunger levels. So when we're talking about protein, most of your sources are going to be animal based, but there are plant-based sources as well. So my major tip for everyone is to have a nice variety of animal-based proteins and plant-based proteins. This ensures that you are getting a wide variety of vitamins, minerals, and fiber in your diet. Okay, so good sources would include lean meats, such as chicken, fish, turkey, lean beef cuts. So when we're talking about these, we also need to consider how are they cooked, okay? So like chicken wings, those are going to be a darker meat. Most of the time they're fried, no matter what they're fried in, they're still fried. So like chicken, for instance, is going to be more of your lean chicken breast, boneless chicken breast. Fish, turkey, lean beef cuts. So again, like baking, pan searing, poaching, that kind of cooking method, anything versus frying. And then we've got seafood. We have the plant-based world, like legumes. So you've got edamame, lentils, pinto beans, chickpeas, lima beans, black beans, peas. In your survival guide, you've got wonderful reference lists that tell you what is highest in fiber per serving size, what's highest in protein per serving size, and then what your best carbohydrates are. Well, that goes into the fiber. And then same thing for fats. So low-fat dairy and dairy alternatives can offer also a good source of protein. And I'm trying to move this bar. There we go. Eggs. We all love eggs. Now, after surgery, I know a lot of people, you are iffy about eggs or you can't tolerate them a certain way. And we could probably do a whole support group about eggs, actually, to come to think of it. And then your nuts, seeds, nut butters, nut and seed butters, like sunflower butter, peanut butter, of course, almond butter, cashew butter, but watch out for the added sugars, of course. So those are all great sources of protein. Carbohydrates. So let's break down carbohydrates real quick. The body's main source of energy. Remember that. Carbohydrates are the body's main source of energy, unless you're literally, or if you're legitimately, I should say, following a ketogenic diet, then you're switching your body's mode of energy to burning on fat. But we're not talking about that either. So in a normal world, everyday world, the body's main source of energy is coming from carbohydrates. Look how much they work. Okay, they help to fuel the brain, the kidneys, the muscles, the central nervous system, and heart muscles. So there's no wonder you feel a little like when your whole body is in kind of like freak out mode when you start to starve your body of carbohydrates. So this is why I make it a point to not vilify carbs after surgery and start to work those in, but we'll talk more about that later as well. Three main types of carbs: starch, fiber, sugar. Your starches provide vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Fiber aids in digestion, controlling blood sugar levels, and promotes healthy cholesterol levels. And then we have sugar. So not necessarily bad sugar. We don't want to say bad sugar, but coming from fruits and vegetables, those offer natural sugars. Big tip, do not fear the carb. What you can do to play it on the safe side, if you just really don't want to count carbs and go through all that, and then you also don't want to avoid carbs altogether, you want to get familiar with a good small list. I shouldn't say small list either. It can be a very long list, but nonetheless a list for you of things that you like, but are complex carbohydrates. So high fiber fruits and vegetables, whole grains. And so to further explain good sources, high fiber fruits, grains, like I mentioned, non-starchy and high fiber vegetables, such as the ones listed there: asparagus, zucchini, green beans, broccoli, leafy greens, carrots, tomato, cauliflower, celery, mushroom, bell pepper. So, yes, those are the non-starchy ones, but you don't have to just stick to the non-starchy ones. Don't let anybody tell you you can't have a sweet potato or even a regular potato. Have your potatoes, please. But it's all in just like everything else, all in moderation. But have a variety of color and types of vegetables. That's really what we're aiming for here. And then last but not least, fats. Healthy fats are essential for a healthy, balanced diet. They are a source of essential fatty acids. So we've all heard of omega-3s, but listen to this. Our bodies don't make omega-3s. Okay, so we need omega-3s, and we can get those from fatty fish, good sources like down below, which we'll read in just a moment. But another reason we need to have fat in our diet to help us absorb fat soluble vitamins. Okay, so fat soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K. You don't even need to remember that, but just know that in order to absorb the vitamins we need, we have to have a source of dietary fat. So it's good to know what types of fats to eat. So you've got a breakdown of saturated fats versus unsaturated fats. Saturated fats are those ones that clog up those pipes within you, leading to your heart, or bad for your heart. So limit these types of fats. These fats are mostly found in animal-based products, full fat dairy products, butters, cheeses. Didn't say don't eat it. I just mean be aware of what's high in saturated fat and know when you're having that and have it in moderation. Just doesn't need to be your primary source of protein or fats, sorry. And then unsaturated fats, you want to eat more of these fats. So these are naturally going to be found in things like nuts, seeds, butters made from those nuts and seeds, avocados, coconut oil. Actually, coconut oil is a saturated fat. That's one of the exceptions in the world, or in the saturated fat world. You always want to stay away from saturated fats as much as possible, or limit them, I should say. But coconut oil is the exception. Tip: limit or avoid sources of saturated fats like fatty cuts of meat, those oh so delicious ones that melt in your mouth, and beef, and then full fat dairy. I'm gonna own up, I love full fat dairy. I don't want any other kind of dairy because I don't want to eat, like, I feel like I'm eating plastic or something. So I like the full fat dairy. I'm just not eating full fat dairy and drinking full fat dairy all the time. No biggie. And fried foods, I just don't go near fried foods. My stomach would just absolutely punish me for it. And if you got to do it, you got to do it, but just don't make it a daily thing, or even a frequent weekly thing. Okay, good sources down below: fatty fish like salmon, herring, lake trout, sardines, mackerel, and tuna. Nuts and seeds, we got coconut and coconut byproducts, avocado, who doesn't love a good avocado, and then plant-based oils such as those ones listed. So we've broken down the 3 macronutrients. How about that? That was not so bad, right? You guys can have a copy of this, or you'll be able to rewatch this if you'd like, on my YouTube channel, or I'll send you the link. Okay, so why do we need balanced meals? Well, we got 5 reasons right here, and I didn't stop at that, or that's not the full list, but that's the most important ones. Number 1, satiety. So after surgery, satiety is a very important concept to understand. Feeling full, I shouldn't even say full, feeling satisfied until your next planned meal. Eventually you should probably get to a point where you have some kind of meal plan, so you're not going too far in time, essentially skipping a meal. So we want to find something that is going to keep you feeling full, and 99.9% of the time that's going to be having a good balance of all 3 of those macronutrients in a meal. So we'll take a look at some examples of that in just a minute. Number 2, better control of blood sugar levels. So let's say you just have a protein. You have no carbohydrates in your meal. Remember, you remember how many things carbohydrates control. I'll tell you this: if I have just a piece of chicken, let's just say I have eggs in the morning. I have 2 or 3 eggs in the morning. And I don't have any fruit or oatmeal or any kind of carbohydrate to go along with that, my blood sugar level is going to be low, and I will get really freaking hangry by the time, I don't know, 10 o'clock rolls around. But if I were to add some type of a complex carb, let's say high fiber toast with avocado spread on it, plus the eggs, I'm going to be satisfied until lunchtime probably, or at least until my snack time. So those carbohydrates really play a role in keeping your blood sugar levels controlled, which is probably wild sounding to you guys because you probably understand carbohydrates as high blood sugar, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have to learn about carbs, understand which ones are complex, which means they break down slowly in the system versus quickly. We don't want anything to go quickly through the system, through our bloodstream. That just means we're spiking and making it plummet. So we want to choose things that have a good amount of fiber. That fiber slows down the digestion of those carbohydrates, so they're maintained in the bloodstream for longer. You stay energetic for longer, more even, okay, instead of like this. So we want less roller coasters. I'm extremely blood sugar sensitive. Some people don't even notice it. Like they're so adapted to things, but my body is extremely self-aware, annoyingly self-aware. And so I do have to make it a point to have a carbohydrate. Like it's not an option for me throughout the day. So sustained energy levels, that's another reason. So that kind of that can go hand in hand with your blood sugar levels. It may feel the same to you. You're just tired, lethargic, but remember your brain uses carbohydrates as energy too. So you start feeling like, oh my God, I'm just in a cloud. I'm just can't think anything. I'm just not thinking clearly. Then you probably need a few carbs. So having more balanced meals can really help with the energy levels, physically, the way you feel, and in your brain. Number 4, this is a huge one, reduced cravings. So I don't know who all watched the workshop with Laura Grabo. She hosted our master class, actually, not the workshop, in February. And she went over the fact that, she's comparing head hunger and physical hunger. And a lot of the reasons head hunger can creep up can be imbalanced meals. So if you're starving your body of carbs, if you're starving your body of these healthy fats, all you're focused on is protein, 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 and nothing that has carbohydrates or the other things, yeah, your body's going to starve for something else. It wants sugar, not necessarily bad sugar. It needs carbohydrate sugar. It needs more vitamins and minerals that's coming from the foods that you're leaving out of your diet. So when you are actually providing your body a variety of those macronutrients, your proteins, carbs, and fats, which if you're getting a good balance of all of those in each one of your meals, that also equates to you're giving your body a more even balance or variety of vitamins, minerals, fiber. Yeah, you're taking it in a bariatric multivitamin, but who's proving how much of that you're actually absorbing? Just because your labs say that you're normal and all of your stuff doesn't mean it's actually normal. Like your body would feel that, you know what I mean? Another conversation. But just because the numbers are there doesn't mean the inside actually looks like that. Anywho, reduce cravings. And then 5, improved digestion. So why is there improved digestion? Because we're adding more complex carbohydrates in, we're adding more fiber in your diet. So and then the variety of the things that you are offering your body from that variety of foods. So prebiotics and probiotics that get that gut moving, you are improving gut health. So that all goes hand in hand with digestion as well. So those are 5 major reasons we need to focus on balanced meals. So how do we create balanced meals? I've got 3 simple rules here. Number 1, always choose a protein. Number 2, always choose a fiber containing carb. And number 3, it's not a necessary rule every meal. Sometimes it just happens naturally, but you don't always have to add that separate fat. Like you don't necessarily always have to add that avocado or nuts or seeds or nut butter. I mean, you could easily do it, but sometimes those are going to fall into 2 categories, which I'll show you. But rule number 3, you don't always have to have a fat, but make it a point to include them in your diet overall. Okay, so now we're going to get into the good stuff. You guys are probably wondering, well, just show me what the hell I can eat. So check out these combos. I've got 3 pages of combos here. So I will kind of break down a couple of these, the why behind some of this. But so you'll see in the left column, I've got a protein. In the middle column, I've got a carb. And in the right column, I've got fats. So you could go through this list and mix and match. So you don't have to do the combination that I have. You can just go through that column and pick your own carb or your own fat. But these are good combinations that I like to have. They make good, simple, easy snacks and meals. And a lot of these are like mimic the idea or picture of things that I provide in our recipe bundles with our membership. So those recipe bundles come from a clean eating software, and it's very much things like this. So you can actually get some more ideas of how to assemble some of these things, and what types of peppers, what types of this, what types of that. So anywho, so let's go to the first one: chicken breast, whole grain tortilla chips, and guacamole. So sometimes you may have to use your creativity. Like you're going to have to think, well, what kind of chicken breast? Where did the chicken breast come from? Where am I going to pick up my chicken breast? So protein, chicken breast. It could be something else, honestly. It could be shrimp that you put into this guacamole. What about that? Add some feta. Yeah, I don't know. So the carb is your whole grain tortilla chips. Okay. Um, this goes without saying from like furthermore, when I'm talking about like chips or breads or Triscuits, like I'm talking about the highest quality something that you can get. I'm not saying I'm promoting Triscuits, for instance, like you can get your brown rice crackers or something. You get the idea, like you'll get the general picture of where I'm going with this. So the fat would be guacamole. So the only thing you got to watch out for here is guacamole is so darn addicting. You're really going to have to watch how much you're having. But you get the idea here. Your guacamole is coming from avocados. That's your healthy fat. You've got your carb, the whole grain. The fact that they're whole grain, they're going to be higher fiber tortilla chips. And then your chicken breast, however the heck you want to have it. And then the next would be super easy bento box, meal plan or meal prepping type of thing. Hard boiled egg, that's your protein. If you want 2 in the day, that's 12 grams of protein right there. Carrots and hummus. So there's your carbohydrates. Hummus has a little bit of healthy fats too, but it's mostly carbs and a tiny bit of protein too. And then your pistachios. So that would be a protein and healthy fat. They're very low in carbs. But so those, the nut world, you'll see they pretty much cross every category. There's protein, there's a little bit of carbs and fats. Next, smoked salmon. I love this one, and I'll tell you what else I do that with this one to like level it up. No pun intended. Protein, smoked salmon. I always buy smoked salmon in the whatever section, seafood section. And I will use it for like open-faced fried egg, not like fried, you know what I mean? Pan-seared egg, open-faced fried egg, smoked salmon sandwich. And sometimes I'll put avocado on it. Yeah, it's high calorie. It's so good. I'm showing you like the dynamics of this. So smoked salmon, high fiber bread, whatever bread you want. If you want to go at this end of the spectrum, you could do Ezekiel bread or sprouted grain bread. You're going to find that in the freezer section. I find that it tastes like cardboard. I just can't do it. I have found Dave's Killer Bread is my favorite. I get the little loaves. I don't get the big bread. They make the most perfect toast. I get the Good Seed. I think it's the yellow one. Anyway, my favorite, but a little bit of cream cheese never hurt anybody. So you could do cream cheese, smoked salmon. So your cream cheese, you're going to put so much on there. It's really, I mean, I meant so little, not so much. You could put so much on there too, but you know, keep track of how much you're putting on there because that's going to be your source of fat. That's going to be your saturated fat, but you could also get a vegan cream cheese. I think there's like Tofutti makes a brand too. But that's super good. You can add anything else you want on top of that. You can add some microgreens, some cilantro. You can add dill, whatever you're fancy. Okay, tuna salad. So down another one. Tuna salad would be your protein. Your carb would be your Triscuits. You're going to get protein, fiber, and so Triscuits have a pretty good amount of fiber. I've got some in there, but I threw the box away. And then your fat would be the base used for your tuna salad. You're going to have a little bit of fat in the tuna, but that's most tuna, like canned tuna, is extremely low or if nothing in fat, but they do offer omega-3s. So your tuna, whatever base you want to use, I've heard, you know, people have used, I have used Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt as the base. I have used Vegenaise before. And I've also made my own mayo whenever I did the Whole30, and then now I'm just back to old Hellmann's. So you can use whatever you want to. That's how you can control the calorie and the fat intake of that particular meal though. But you've got tuna, you've got your 3 macronutrients nonetheless. All right, let's go to a plant-based one. So protein. You've got black beans and quinoa. So I chose those 2 as my protein because your black beans are going to give you some flavor. Your quinoa is actually a complete protein on its own. So you can kind of say, okay, I've covered my protein. Quinoa has all 9 essential amino acids, just like animal products do. So if you're thinking vegetarian, vegan, plant-based, then you are good on the protein there. And then your carbohydrate, I'm an idiot. Well, I'm not an idiot, but I should have also said black beans and quinoa are also going to be counted as your carb. But so I had added low starchy carbs here, so bell pepper and broccoli. So it's almost going to be negligible with your carbohydrates there. And but we could say your black beans and quinoa are also going to be your carbs, but they're going to, in this meal, they're going to be your source of protein, just to fill in that category. But this is going to be a high fiber meal, folks. You want to get things moving in the right direction, do this one. And then your fat, avocado. So I get, well, this is not going to help you at all. It doesn't help me either. Just to let you know, if you want to use avocado more often, they do. Walmart and Aldi, they have frozen avocado. So, and maybe even your local farmers market store like Detweiler's or Sprouts or wherever you're close to. I get frozen avocado. I use it all the time in my smoothies, and that's how I get my avocado. Because I promise you, I'll buy 4 or 5 avocados and I'll just sit there and watch those poor things ruin before I even get a chance to do something with them. All right, next page, protein. So here's some more snacky items. So protein here would be your almond butter. I'm an almond butter fan. I just, my stomach doesn't tolerate peanut butter, so I'm constantly using almond butter. Almond butter, and then your carb would be your sliced apple, and your fat would also be your almond butter. So it's pretty good, you know, equal in fat and protein there. So, well, more fat, more calories coming from fat for sure, but healthy fats nonetheless, plant-based fats. Next would be mozzarella, cherry tomatoes. Your fat would also be the mozzarella. So what you could do with mozzarella and cherry tomatoes, if you're plain Jane, then just have them like that. You can get those little mozzarella pearls. They come in packs of 3, and that's easy for calorie counting or accountability. Or you can get the big package that has the little tiny pearls. I take those, throw them in a bowl, get some cherry tomatoes, cut them in half, and ribbon some fresh basil, and then drizzle some balsamic in there, y'all. Oh, and salt and pepper and olive oil. Easiest snack ever. It lasts for a couple days. Ground beef. Oh, this is my spin on spaghetti or pasta. Okay, so if you want a quote unquote healthier spin on spaghetti, take your regular pasta that you're using, try Banza chickpea noodles, like start there. I think that's a wonderful brand. You can get a really great amount of plant-based protein, fiber, quality carbohydrates through those. And what I have found is most of the noodles that I have tried from Banza, I've been able to trick my brain, or it just tastes a lot like the regular noodles. So, but get the lean ground beef. That would be your source of protein. Carbs, the Banza chickpea noodles, and your fat is going to be coming from the beef. There may be a negligible amount of fat in your noodles coming from the chickpeas, but very negligible. So just watch the amount of fat with your beef. Yeah, you could add a healthy fat to that. Let me think. Healthy fat to the spaghetti-ish. I mean, avocado, why not? Oh, that's gonna be a lot of fat though. Oh my freaking gosh. Guys, I gotta go. My dog's got out. I am so sorry. This is an emergency. Oh, shoot. Stop, share, end.